Hey folks, Sega Sonic Fan here, and I'm doing a teardown of the ZD, what is it, the ZD985 desoldering pump station. And I've got these little tapes I put as notice to myself of what was wrong with this. And actually, I think they've made a newer revision since this one. But first thing, if you're watching this video and you don't have one of these, my strong advice is don't get one. Avoid one of these at all costs, man. I know the price is tempting because they're 150 bucks, or at least that's what I paid for mine. You will regret it. You will regret it so hard. These have so many issues, and they're just very, very problematic. If you don't believe me, you can watch other videos that people have made on all the problems these have. And they're not just simple fixes a lot of the time, even though some of the videos might make it look like that. Case in point is my unit, which has had a number of problems, and they're not easy fixes. This is one of the later revisions where they added the DC to DC converter instead of the giant resistors, which I guess it had in an earlier model. And tearing this thing down is really annoying because, as you can tell, everything's kind of hardwired to itself. There's not a lot of plugs. They were trying to save money on plugs. For example, the two motor terminals for the pump are soldered there, and they're soldered here as well. So what you have to do is you have to start by unscrewing everything from the bottom plate. There's going to be, the longer screws are going to be for the pump. And it's got those nice rubber stoppers, which is good for noise reduction. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I might actually make some plugs to put in here because this is frustratingly difficult to service. So it's kind of like a double whammy of you have a thing that needs servicing a lot because it's got problems and it's really difficult to service. My issue here is I'm actually not getting enough airflow from the pump. So I'm guessing that my pump might be clogged, even though I use all the filters, and boy, the filters are not easy to source either. But yeah, I'm not sure what that's all about. It doesn't sound like it's struggling, but I think it is. The airflow is just not making it to the handpiece. And yeah, I'm actually curious why the motor pump. Oh, I guess that's for the. Is that for the trigger? I'm curious why the motor pump goes to the heating element and like input jack for the handgun. Also, as you can see, the heat shrink tubing was not actually shrunk. It's not the right actual thick diameter of heat shrink tubing. So yeah, also this wire is way too thin for what should be used on a DIN connector like that. And you know, you'll find a bunch of little things like that working on these. Strangely enough, my actual circuit board hasn't had any problems. The main circuit board, the digital logic stuff, it's just like pumps, and the iron gets really hot. It actually destroyed one of the tips already, even though I've used it like 5 times before it broke. Not even sure how that happened. You have to get this thing really, really hot. You know, you got to put on like max temperature just to get it to work, to get it to suck up a lot of the solder. And when you're doing that, it oxidizes the tips more, I guess. But I don't know, man. I'll try to show the video later where I show, or I'll try to make another video later where I'll show the what happened to my tip. I mean, it just disintegrated. It's really sad. And I should kind of see that it looks like a fairly standard tip diameter, so maybe I'll be able to source some cheaper ones because it's getting harder to find parts for this. And maybe that's a good thing. I would totally throw this thing away, except I spent $150 on it. That's a lot of money. So unfortunately, here I am trying to fix something that belongs in a trash can. Hopefully you're not in the same boat, and if you are, I'm going to make follow-up videos with my repair attempts, which will hopefully help you out of that boat. This is Sega Sonic Fan. The journey continues.